out of the ruins, out from the wreckage. We can't make the same mistakes this time. We are the children, the last generation. We are the ones they left behind. And I wonder when we are ever gonna change. Living under the fear till nothing else remains. We don't need another hero. We don't need to know the world. All we want is like beyond the thunderdome. We're looking for something we can rely on. There's got to be something better out there. Oh, yeah, love and compassion. Yeah, the day is coming, or else our castle's built in the air. And I wonder when we are ever gonna change. Living under the fear till nothing else remains. Other children say we don't need another hero. We don't need to know the world. All we want is life beyond the thunderdome. So what do we do with our lives? We leave only a mark. We are stories shine like a light, or end in the dark. Is it all or nothing? Hey, we don't need another hero. We don't need to know the world. All we want is life beyond the thunderdome. They are the children say we don't need another hero. We don't need another hero. We want is life beyond the thunderdome.
Hello. How is it, everyone? I hope everyone is doing well. Okay, it's by myself right now. Zzenn has not gotten here yet. That's no big deal because I can still, fill empty air. I seem to be good at that. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, so while we're waiting, right, I make notes and then I have no idea what I was talking about. what was that about? I just wrote down sugar and spice. What did I write that down for? What thought juicified my brain? Made me write that. I have lots of notes like that. So yeah, I think we were going to talk about Kundalini awakening, the snake within, because that's how I met Zzenn when I was going through my, Kundalini, I suppose is the word there, but then he had sent me an email, and then he also said he wanted to touch on some of so he must have some information about the human trafficking crisis that's happening, because he wanted to also touch on that. So hopefully he'll be here soon. I did check. I did send the link. And if not, that's all right. I didn't have anything prepared though. I don't have, anything really. I've already done all of those notes. Let me look over here on my other notebook. I am interested in talking with other people. So if you are somebody who has an interesting story, or just something you like to study, or a topic that you're interested in, please see me and let's schedule a chat. And I'm looking for people that would just like to talk about what it was like growing up a Gen Xer as well, because I see a lot of channels that interview people that are either of this generation or that generation. They're either the few silents that are yet left, and the baby boomers are coming around, and they're, let's get the baby boomer stories. Let's capture everyone's story, much like they did with the World War II, Jews, where they started having, anybody that was a victim of that war, they were coming and telling their stories, and they were documenting them. And I thought, nobody's doing that for Gen X, so I'm going to do that. So, I'd love to just ask like basic, a day in the life of, tell me what it was like to grow up in Dublin in 1964, or 1974 when you were 10 years old. What does that like? That kind of stuff. And then, anything. I'm curious about people. That's what I do. So I want to know why people do what they do. These are the things. Right, that was from the other thing. Okay. Why we do what we do. What can I talk about to kill some time? I don't know. I've been thinking of all kinds of things lately. Plus, who am I talking to? What can I talk about? How easily we're tricked by things. Magicians. Who knows? Who knows? Do you believe? What do you believe? Believe nothing. It's really interesting to me that the X-Files talks about trust no one, and yet he believes that his sister was abducted by aliens, and he witnessed that abduction. He was, in fact, a military brat. So Fox and Dana were both the children of military, high ranking, or up there in the ranks of military personnel. I must remember that PBS is full of people that were once in the military, or children of those that were in the military. From Mr. Rogers to Sewing with Nancy, Even Bobby donned a suit. Just it's interesting to me. And because he saw this abduction and his sister disappeared in this beam of light, he remembers this moment from when he was a kid, having a lucid dream, probably from some smart dust blown in his face. Some type of hallucination, some kind of sporadic spores being sporadically blown. I don't know. I do know there's also circus tent and fumigation in the X-Files. So all linked. And they, he just believes it. He says he dedicates his whole life now to unlocking what won't be said. Why can't you just tell me the truth? Those were aliens there that night. So they create a story. They create something for you. They make you believe something has happened when remember how old was Fox when that event took place? I think he was double digits. Yes, he was. I think he was 10 maybe. His sister was like 6 or 9, something like, right around there. Doesn't matter. Right at that age that he was, the in-between zone, the lucid zone, the between zone. And he sees his sister be abducted. And then that solidifies him for life. I've got to unlock the mysteries. I got to find out what happened to my sister. My sister. And his whole life now is centered around saving his sister. Finding out what happened to her. There's a movie with Kiefer Sutherland like that. I can't remember the name of it, but I think it was, I don't know. The idea was his wife or girlfriend or whatever she was, she went missing and mysteriously, and the character wants to find out what happened to him. So he spends all this time trying to find out what happened to my wife. He's always out there trying to ask questions, harass people. And finally the killer approaches him and says, I can show you what happened to your wife. You just have to do everything I say. And then proceeds to basically, Kiefer Sutherland tortures himself and buries himself. She was buried alive. He ends up buried alive right next to her, kind of thing. That's that's just a good example of what happened, what can happen. You know what I mean? We can bury ourselves alive in our own obsessions for the truth. We can end up believing in things that aren't true because we're desperate to find an answer. Maybe we'll just accept whatever answer is presented to us, including the one that says little green men are flying around above, or maybe the tall green men live underground and have lizard skin. And people just believe these things I have no idea. And those same people will say things like, Occam's razor, obviously it's aliens, because look, they didn't want us to know about it. Oh my God. Okay, Psychology 101 tells me that if I don't want my kid to date that boy, I don't tell her. Don't date him. You tell them to stay away from it. Kids by default want to go near it. It's part of our personality quirks. That's what makes us human. That's a behavior that is ingrained in us. It's programmed in, if you like that flavor Kool-Aid, and it's easily manipulated. I got to do it in just 2 generations. I got everyone believing in my alien theory. It's great. Do you know that I sat there and typed that up? I sat at my desk and thought it up out of the top of my head. I got an idea. Look, wait, guys, hang on. Look, watch this. Click, 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 click. And like in that Monty Python skit, everyone was looking around me. Here she is. She's writing. she's telling us how we're going to pull this off. And she's wrote the word "the." Yes, it's "the." The way to pull it off. And I started to declassify. I wrote some classified. Look at this. Watch this. On Saturday, June 19th, 1954. A unidentified flying object was noted into the skies over above the White House, and blah, 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 blah. And little green men came out, and everybody's going, oh my God, this is really good. Do you see what she's writing there? Oh my God, you're really good. That's good stuff. Come here, you got to check this out. It's really good shit. Look, and everybody's looking over my shoulder, and I'm just, and then I yank it out, and they're all like, whoa, that's great. And I go, wait, I'm not done. And I reach over and I grab a rubber stamp. And I hold the paper with my left hand. And with my right hand, I stamp into the ink. And I stamp on the page. And when I lift my stamp, everyone gasps. Classified, it says. And they go, that's great. Bravo. And we had cake in the break room. It was one of my better ideas. Okay, just letting you know. It's one of my better ideas. That stupid rubber stamp, just that alone, blew everybody's mind. They were like, whoa, man. That's brilliant, Joanie. Yeah. That was a great day. I achieved a lot that day. And, the man upstairs was paying attention, or the man downstairs, depending on how you view this. And so then we filed it away. Susie ran off, and Susie filed it away in a cabinet somewhere. I never saw it again until the other day. When it shows up in my news feed and it says declassified. And I'm like, oh shit, that's that thing I wrote. I totally forgot that had been so long. That was good, wasn't it? That was a good idea. And high fives all around in the conference room. Yeah. Man, I knew you were hanging on to that. Is that this week? Was that this week? I forgot to put it on my calendar. Yeah, fuck. Who brought the donuts this morning? That was great. Joanie, today's your day. Remember, this is your day. Oh, fuck. I forgot. Is it now? Is it that time already? God, it just feels like time has flown by, hasn't it, y'all? When we just were putting those little classified things in the folders. Do you remember when we were doing that day? That was really good stuff I wrote there, Steve. I was really impressed with how you made that sound real professional and all. And the UFOs, that was definitely a great idea. And Barbara from costuming. I mean, could she have not done a better job on those alien costumes? For real. They looked real. Even I was fooled. Got me. I was in the break room and he popped out of the van. I was like, you fucker, you scared me with your little mask. They were really good. They had me fooled too. Oh, that's your truth. That's your Oxum's razor for anybody's paying attention. That's how we pulled that trick off. And you all buying it. You're all still buying it. You're still right there in the thick of it. Feed me more, you say. Feed me more. I've got some things to show you. Don't worry. Bob over in the tech department has got some really fantastic things. Just last Saturday, we got together for, we were having like a picnic. It's like a company picnic, right? Yeah, we were having our company picnic. And he was like, guys, come over here and check out what I got going on in my lab. And we were like, fuck, that's some shit. He goes, yeah, I got it. It's perfect. No, I've sold it already. It's being made as we speak. Look at this. Look at this. I'm going to make the whole sky. All of a sudden, all of that spray shit that we've been spraying in the sky is going to start interacting together. They're like millions and billions of tiny little drones, but the wind, right? I'm creating the storm and they carry them around, and these tiny little nanoparticles of dust, they start to form faces in the skies. They're going to see clouds that have faces, and I've got some that look like eyes. Do you know, I was inspired by my great-great-great-great-grandfather, who was the founder of the star firework, or the shaped fireworks. You ever see it? It's like a dolphin in the sky. You're like, what, a dolphin? That is my great-great-grandpappy. And so I'm really good at this. It's in my lineage, right? And so this is what we have now. It's a modern day. My grandfather would be so proud of me. And so it's going to come, and then so people are going to start seeing shapes in the sky. I can make them look like whatever I want, but I think a face would be really fun. Get it, freak them out a bit. A lot of people pull out their camera. What the fuck is that? The devil? I've got some of those as well. Don't worry. For Zzenn lovers, I've got some demons ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be fantastic. And then I've got some that are going to look like Jesus, like the face of Jesus. So get ready for a cloud that is a, shroud. I'm going with the traditional shroud of Terran. I really want to, however you say that, right? I'm really going to get right on that one there. And so that one's going to look it's almost like a mirror image, like a photographic. It's my artist interpretation. It's really what it is. You're going to love it. Let's see what other kind of things. I'm channeling people in the boardroom. This is why I'm walking around the room, and I'm just stepping inside of these people's minds with the ideas that they come up with. And not all of them, not all my predictions are going to be accurate, because not everybody is, they're all just throwing ideas on a table, a night of a round table. They're all just brainstormers, and they're going to pull some of these ideas out. Hey, Misha. I'm waiting on Zzenn, so I'm just blabbering. I'm channeling boardrooms, Misha. And if he doesn't show up, I might have the time. I'm pretty sure. I know I sent him the link. We'll see. He might have gotten busy. No big deal. I thought I'd hang out for a little bit and blabber. And then if he's not here, then, I'll either continue to blabber, or we'll blabber about something else. Or, I'll just, go about my merry way, and we'll try it another time. But I was thinking of all of the things that the guy in the boardrooms would be, thinking about the nano dust in the sky. I feel like they're going to start looking like faces and eyes and Jesus and all kinds of dragons in the sky. We're going to think that for a minute, some people, well, not for a minute, a lot of people. Oh, nice, Misha. Yeah, I put many people to sleep, Misha. Don't worry. I'll try to keep that in mind and not get too excited and yell. I'm practicing that. You look helping me practice. I'm not very good at it, but yeah. So these are the kind of ideas. I think they will definitely fool a whole lot of people with these illusions. These are magic tricks that they're performing, and they're stacking the deck right now. They're minding the gap. Minding the gap is when we allow them to make assumptions. Minding the gap is in magic. It's the part that blends in. It's that thing when you're taking a step onto the train that you might lose because there's a break in it. So it's a mind. You got to mind the gap. You have to make people aware. Look here. And when you're doing that, means you can create illusion, and because the gap creates an illusion. It's why it's difficult to walk on grates and things. Mind the gap. Be careful of that illusion. You might lose your step. That's what that is. This is going to appear. I did this in my wee one's room. So she has 2 different colors in her room, and on the one wall there's a little break into the wall, so the wall has like this little extra portion of the wall in it because of what's behind it. So it's it's just got about a foot worth of space that's just so it sits out. And so I painted it so that when you're looking at, all the walls are opposite of each other, so it creates an optical illusion. So when you're looking from one thing, that break in the wall blends in because I colored the front of it the same color as the wall that's behind it, as opposed to the one that it would be close to. And then when you move around the room, that illusion creates itself again with the other wall and that color. So basically painted the wall so that little that little space in there can disappear and reappear whenever it's fun. It's an optical illusion. I like magic. Why not have it in my house? That is an idea of minding the gap. It's that, you know, it will blend in together. You won't be able to see it. The illusion will be that there is no step there, and there is in fact a step there. So, so we do these things here. Minding the gap works out of assumptions. I assume things with that. So when magicians are using it, it's, and somebody could say you're wrong, Joanie. That's fair. I don't, you know, like I'm not an expert in magic or anything. It's just, you know, and I could have something where I'm old and, you know, who gives a fuck anyway? Let's not, you know, get all antsy. It's all right. I'll agree that I might be wrong and you're right. No big deal. No big deal. But works off of an assumption. And so by allowing people to assume things and all, again, for bumming, what do you say? For bumming your streams. You're not, why would you be bumming my streams? You're not bumming my streams. I can bum my streams by myself, Misha. I don't need no help from you. Never, never, never. But yeah, I see so much of that. That goes back to, how do you convince everyone that we landed a man on the moon? You convince the astronaut that he landed on the moon. And all I need to do to do that is just put him in a suit, walk him down a runway, put him in a capsule, add a lot of noise, you know, centrifugal, I don't know, shoot him off, let him come back down. I only have to make him think he's gone to the moon. I can actually don't even have to have him leave the studio. I can create every bit of that. And not only that, but I think they knew they were actors. I think that's exactly what was being said earlier. They weren't very happy, you know, to have come back from the fucking moon, almost disappointed. And I thought about that in regards to, you know, becoming an astronaut as a kid. You know, I watched that movie Space Camp, and I thought that sounded fun. I wanted to go to space camp. I wanted to be Sigourney Weaver. I wanted to go around, you know, fight aliens in the future. That sounded fun. Not really, but space camp did sound fun. Getting to go explore other planets or the stars or the moon. And so I got the idea. And, you know, you have a moment where you imagine being an astronaut, but that just doesn't sound like something I'd want to do, ultimately. And so I thought to myself, how sad would it have been if the astronaut had stuck with me? And I thought to myself, ooh, I do want to be an astronaut. And I spent my entire life learning everything I possibly could on how to be an astronaut. And I take the tests and I'm in. And I've got my ASVAB and yes, you got astronaut on yours. I know, I'm so excited. I'm in. High five. Right? And then I show up for my first day at class on how to be an astronaut 101, and it's about lighting. Wait a minute, this is an acting class. Wait, I thought I was here to be an astronaut, y'all. And they're like, yeah, you are. Okay, but this is like the set design or like movie stuff that's going on in here. You're talking about lighting and act. I mean, what am I supposed to jump? Am I pretending? What is it going to be? You're talking about stuff, apparatuses on me. And they go, yeah. Well, I'm confused. I thought it was here to be an astronaut and go into space. And they go, no, you're here to be an astronaut, go to space. Oh, bummer. And I think that's the face that we were seeing on old Mr. Armstrong and Aldrin and Buzzy Boy. Just a pure, as if they've been drooling over this chick since the moment they laid eyes on her. And she's finally single, and they got their chance to have one passionate night with her, and everything was going right. And she's sexy, and she dances, and she eats, you know, the right kind of food. She's not gross. She's like, ew, she kind of eats like, oh, it's cute. And she's sexy with it, right? And then you get in the room and you're all excited. You're making out in the doorway and you slam open the door and then you're all, and then comes the moment and it's like, oh my God, you're horrible. You're horrible. You're sweating on me and stuff. You're like doing things that I don't particularly. What is that? There's a scene in a movie, Dirty Love, if you're ever interested in watching a funny chick flick that's just raunchy. Or she gets with this guy and he goes down on her and she goes, it's not bubble gum, it's that idea. That's what that had to have been like for these astronauts. Complete and utter letdown. You know, maybe you pull off her pants, you find out she's a man. I don't know. Maybe it's the hunger, the crying games. Oops. Freudian slip. I don't know. Feel bad for him, you know? But then, and the ones today who we see you on the green screen on your own channel. I'm looking, they're looking. Come on, rooters. That's an inflatable plane. Come on. Please tell me you see what I see. You're questioning my reality because I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that rainbow and I'm saying that is not a real thing, everybody. There can't possibly be 90% of the population who are participating. That would be unbelievable. I would have more in my life. You know what I mean? So who is that group? Who is that? I don't understand. I'm super confused. Where do that? What is it that gets? You, Luke, and I were just saying this, you know, earlier. Even what is it about these? It's not the ones that are walking around telling the stories in the library that intrigue me. It's all, hey Melissa, hey girl. It's all the peripheral that intrigues me. It's the parents that are just laughing it up. Just, it's so strange to me. I'm dumbfounded on a daily basis how we can convince so many people that that these narratives exist. And then those are the same people that will argue and say, how can you not believe in aliens? I don't know how you can believe in them. I can explain how they got here. You tell me that's supernatural. I can explain it. I study my magic. I know how magicians do. I know how narcissists do. I know how the devil does. I know the devil. You apparently have no idea. You have no idea how he works. You have no clue. Not a one. Not even an inkling. I'm the devil's daughter. Let me tell you how my daddy plays. That's what I'll say to you. You're in for a rude awakening. You know, if that's your flavor. If you like the red Kool-Aid, the red devil Kool-Aid. Maybe you like the green Kool-Aid. You can't do that on television. Maybe that's your thing. You know? It's strange. And what gets them there? You know how easy it would be to create such things. I'm still really leaning on that UFO sightings, our military, our own children up there. All of us that got, you know, kids in the military and on the earth right now. Maybe some of your kids are in special ops, or maybe they joined the Space Force. I don't know. I think they're that. I don't think they came from another planet. Here's how I know aliens don't exist. I remember. I got it now. All right. I'm going to disprove it all. If I'm a global leader and an alien came down and said, hey, okay, this is what's up. So the story that they're telling me, where Putin says he's had talks with aliens, and Biden says he's had talks with aliens, Trump's even had the talks, Clinton's had the talks, Reagan's had the talks, they've all had the talks with the aliens. They're all say these things. Yes, we walked on the moon. I had talks with aliens. Okay. If they really did, and those aliens are telling them, hey, we're coming now. All right. So we're going to start sending all of our little ships down there. And so you need to prepare your humans, your peoples. Don't you think that's what they would be doing instead of scaring everybody? If the aliens are a nice species, they would be helping us to get along with them. They would be showing us proof that the aliens have been helping us and want to, move us into the next. All I get is some psychopath on the internet telling me that he's channeling aliens from the star galactic Pleiades, and he's telling me that they're good aliens. Okay. He's not running things. And those that are running things don't tell you shit. And that's called gaslighting and narcissistic abuse. It's where you ask questions and they tell you, why do you always have to ask questions? Why can't you just trust me? Why do you always have to be like that? Why can't you just go along? I'd never hurt you. I'm not going to hurt you. You just need to trust me. It's for your greater good. I don't tell you everything because you don't need to know everything. I have some things that's not a concern of yours. Who's heard these terms before in abusive relationships? That's what's happening. By saying, look, she was hallucinating aliens too. Bingo. I love it. All just a thing. I have a meme, Melissa, that says, yeah, let's get drunk together. Tomorrow I'll tell, I love it when we get drunk together. Tomorrow I'll tell everybody what a drunken slut you were. I love when we drink together. And then this is what I'll be saying tomorrow. She's a slut. She's a drunken slut. Look at her. Right? That they set you up. They invite you out to drinks and then tell everybody, look, you remember when that happened to her? You remember when she got drunk? She's been having a drinking problem for a while. You've been set up, my friend. I've been set up. All of this has been one big, giant setup from the beginning. Create something and then use it against you later. So true. So yeah, I'm not going to. If they wanted to, if our leaders truly cared about us, and they know for a fact that when people get oogity boogitied, so scared out of the bushes, like the boogeyman, which is coming back, by the way, metaphorically speaking, and literally in our films and everything else, we're getting a reoccurrence of the boogeyman. Somebody's about to jump out of the bushes with an axe. Just looks different now. But when we get oogity boogitied, we react. We either react with fear, right? Or anger, which all stem from fear. And my fear is going to have these responses. I'm either going to attack you, so fight. I'm going to stand still and get run over, freeze, or I'm going to run away and hope you can't find me. Now, there's something else that's packed into the three F's of fear. And it's it's taking you're taking observation. You have a moment. So this is where the freeze mechanism should be used. Everyone thinks when they think freeze, they think that's the worst. They go, no, you never freeze. You should never freeze. You should never just stand there and let them run you over. Now that's when you're frozen. Okay, that's a different response. That is frozen. The first freeze comes when the elk is, or the zebra is drinking some, eating some grass, and they hear a little click click, a little crunch in the back, a little snap snap, a little a rustle in the bushes, a brushel, and their little ear peep peep, right? Maybe they even popped their head up. What was that? Now, what? I heard something. Now I know that because I do that. Because I'll be sitting here, crocheting or listening to something, and then I'll hear something and I'll go, what was that? Maybe I mute my thing I'm listening to, and I put my head up and I kind of take a little listen. Oh, what is that? I got to go check it out. Or, oh, that's nothing. It was the air, right? It was the air conditioner, whatever. That's freezing. That's taking a frozen stance. So standing still for a minute, taking an inventory before you react. Now, nobody does that. And it's been programmed out of us. You know what I mean? So we've been told that if we freeze, that means frozen. That means death. And when you react by running or fighting, before you've taken a moment to freeze in space and take an inventory and decide which reaction you need to have, if you react before you do that, you're going to run right into the other lion. You're going to run right into the net that's waiting. They're going to oogity boogity you. And you're going to turn right around and go right into the loosey juicy aisle. Right? Sign me up. Did you see that over there? They were trying to make me think, oh, that's going to kill me over there. Line me up. I need to be protected here. Come on. I'm scared. They oogity boogity me. Get me to safety quick. And they'll just follow anyone. This is what makes children so susceptible to things like human trafficking. Because when a kid gets disoriented and lost, their instinct is to find whatever looks like an adult to take care of it. That's why ducks imprint on you. And people are, monkeys are attracted to adults or whatever. It's why we have these things in the first place. It's a survival thing we have. It's why we have that story of, say, Tarzan, or the Jungle Book, right? Where the gorilla takes in the little boy. That kind of stuff. What are the ages and stages of these things? Hello, Crystal. How are you? I don't know, Okay, let me see. Oh, somebody is saying, Earth is a school. We're here to learn. I don't know what else that says. I was checking my email, and that's... Now, if that person is saying that, well, I would love to hear what he's saying, because that's what I think, that we're here to learn. It's what I've been screaming out for the last 10 years. So it would be really awesome and rad to hear somebody else talking about the same things as me. I would be like, hey, welcome to the club. I've been waiting to find you. Let's compare notes. But I kind of have a feeling that he's going to say something that isn't what I'm hoping he's going to say, because so far, every time I get my hopes up. Do you know who talks more in lines to what I think and how I have unpacked the world? The Freemasons. Exactly that. Masonic, Steiner, all that. What is that? Tao, or no religions, I guess, that doeth I sadly, that's where I kept landing. Whenever I would go in diving into the thoughts that I'd have and the notes that I'd make and how I viewed things, and I'd be trying to find somebody that would say similar things to me about us developing in stages, and that we're in our adolescence, and this is the human condition at the moment, and our Mother Earth is through her menopause, and this is exactly what happens in a family when the mom is in menopause and the teenage girl is in her puberty stage, and they start bucking heads, right? Well, why wouldn't we as a human also mimic our Mother Earth in that same regard? Of course, we would have that same lineup, that same parallel. And I get excited, and then they'd let me down. They wouldn't say that. They'd bounce all around it and never come out and say it. And I did think at one point that one of my, what happened was I had one of those, out of body type experiences that I do where I faint for a while, and while I'm there, I get to play in real cool places in the big library, and I was reading a book and in there, and I'm like, holy shit, this is the fucking book. I got the book. Holy fuck. And I picked it up and I looked around to see if anybody could see me. And nobody was looking. Nobody was in that portion of the library for a minute. The great cosmic mind. Nobody was looking. They were all out to lunch celebrating the Musk rocket or something, right? Here's me. Oh my God. And then this is a real experience that I had. So you can say I dreamt it, whatever. I don't even care how you believe me. But this is how my own mind created this experience, the fairy tale that was how I came to understand what I'm sharing today. And I'm holding the book, and I know I'm getting back. I got to go back into my body. Whatever, I'm coming out of the fainting spell. I'm starting to come back into the reality, back into the body, right? And I'm holding this book, and I'm like, no, you're bringing it with you this time. You're bringing it with you this time. You got it. And just as I slip back into myself, I managed to hold one page out of it, and it ripped, and the book went back into the cosmic library. But when I looked down in my hand, I had that page. And I wrote in my notebooks, and I told my husband, I said, I just got a page out of the fucking book, the playbook. I got it. It's right here. It's in my head. I painted an entire wall with chalkboard paint, and I wrote my entire theory upon the wall. These are my thoughts on remote viewing, Crystal. Exactly. This is how it manifested in my mind. And then now what? Now what do I do? I don't know what's happening to me. And so just this is that. This is what I came up with. I started talking about it. I started experiments, really, is what I did. And Crystal, you go back with me when I was in my YouTube experimental stage, where I was still trying to perform my own little curiosity experiments here on, with people that I was meeting in my channels. I just find people so fascinating. And I can get why some can separate like that, or some can, I feel sorry for some of the people that really do believe, they truly are from another planet. Whatever happened to them in that moment where they got their eye blinked, or they were ready to hatch out of the egg, the mork from orc. I don't know what happened at that birthing moment, but something went wrong. And there's nothing wrong with anyone doing these things. I don't care. It's not like that. I have a problem with people who use it to exploit people, though. But those that innocently, believe in these things, and they want to, truly, it's easier to believe that I am from another planet or a galaxy than it is to believe that I'm human, and that the people that abused me were also human. So two mindsets come from this type of abuse. Either you separate from the world, or the world separates from you. And so, some start to say things like, I don't belong here. I feel off. Oftentimes we use this when we're describing generations too. Have you star seeds? It's massive with the star seed movement, where they're asking, have you ever felt like you don't belong here? Have you ever, felt like, you're not of this world? These are the questions they ask people. Of course they don't. If you have enough abuse, that's what happens to you. Separate from yourself. You have out-of-body experiences enough. And people that are abused have them, whether they recognize it or not. It's a safety mechanism that the brain does, because it's very hard for the mind to accept that the person that is abusing you is your mother or your father or your friend, a kid in school, or, a teacher, any human being. And so the mind finds ways to separate from that humanity. And it creates illusions so that while you're in that traumatic event, maybe your dad, as he's coming down the hall, takes on the face of a bull. And you can actually visually see, as you're about to know it's going down lucid style, right? The smoke coming out of his nose. And he begins to morph in front of your eyes like a bull. And you stand there frozen in fear, waiting for him to come at you. That's what the mind does. Now you know where we get all these fairy tales from. Now you know why we have these beliefs. That's why we give the bull. That's why we give the ram. That's why. You ever been bucked by a ram? That's probably what it would have felt like. You would have had reference. Somebody hitting you like that upside the head. You know what I mean? Bam! Locking horns. Head to head. You and your dad. Always bucking heads, they say. Right? And as a child with that imagination, it must separate from the human side of itself. So it either makes the person in front of you a monster, which makes them become the devil or Satan or everything, and you stay Jesus the man, or you separate yourself and say, I'm not of this world, and these are not of me. I'm not human. I don't do these things. I'm a good one. And then, separate. Now, we must understand that the mind does that to protect itself in order to stay grounded in reality and stop believing in fairy tales, right? It's easy to believe in fairy tales. You go, Joanie, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. I've seen people shapeshift. So have I. If you only knew what I experienced. So have I. And because I did, something didn't feel right. I still never felt like they were monsters. I still never felt like they were possessed by the devil. You're not going to convince me that my ex-husband was somehow possessed by the devil, or the boys that I knew in school were possessed by the devil. You're not going to, even if I did see them turn into monsters, even if I did see their fucking little faces and their slitty eyes and their horns and all of that, even if I did in that moment see that illusion, I still recognized it's an illusion. Yep. Bye, Crystal. So there's that. But it's much easier for some reason. People want to believe that illusion. So much easier for some reason. And I don't get it, because it's the harder of the 2 answers. You have to go way out there with your belief to allow demonic possession. Right? I know what my mind does. And so I say, okay, that does it. Do you see orbs? Sure you do. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Do you know that your blood pressure and all sorts of things, age, pressure, even through the weather systems, can alter the shapes of your eyes in tiny little ways that can allow you to see different aspects of things? That's not supernatural. That's God. That's Mother Nature. That's how we were designed. We were designed to see the devil. That doesn't mean the devil is there. We were designed to see the light orbs. We were designed to see the rainbows and the double rainbows. We were designed to see them. That does not mean that they hold any more power than that. Adding supernatural on top and telling me that that's this or that's that. But then when I suggest maybe that these little orbs are nanodust, well, that's ludicrous, Joanie. Is it? You want me to believe they're sprite spirits, people. Are you hearing yourself? I think that's where, things start to get shady for me. Well, I blabbered on for an hour waiting for Zzenn, so I'm going to assume something has happened. And we've either had a misunderstanding or there was, some kind of emergency or something. So I'm not going to worry about it, but I am going to go. Because if he does, maybe he's just got something going on, maybe we'll come back later tonight, and we'll talk with Zzenn. And I don't want to just, I want to do some things now. So then maybe we can talk later. So thanks for coming by and listening to me for an hour blabber. And then I'll see everybody later. Bye-bye. See ya.